support crew back then. The support crew ran out of water and all they had was beer. So Dunbar drank beer for the rest of the race and ended up second. And the guy next to Dunbar with the blue cap who looks really focused is a guy named Tom Warren. And let's go to the next photo here. Oh, here's Dave Orlowski, 1978. No shirts, right? He is wearing a Timex, by the way. The event had 15 people in '79. After this article came out in Sports Illustrated, all of a sudden everybody wanted to know about the Ironman. And Tom Warren happened to own a tavern near where I live in San Diego called Tug's Tavern. He put on an event called the Tug Swim Run Swim. So myself and, let's go next photo here. Myself, that's me on the left. That's a good look, I know. The early terrorist look. You probably saw me during the filming in Egypt in the last few weeks. And this next guy, I know, where'd those go? The guy over here, who here rides a mountain bike?
Over.
Yeah. This is the office. And we go down to, he tells us this is an office, it's west. He says it's on the west side of the street, just south of Crystal Pier. We go down there, and it's a parking lot. And in this parking lot, there's an RV. And on the back of this RV is a rusted bike, and on the top is a paddleboard, and there's running shoes hanging from the side view mirror. And I put my head in, and he's like, Babbitt, welcome to my office. So what this guy would do to train for Ironman, there was no person out there with nutrition on Ironman training on how to train for this. So our mentor was this guy, Tom Warren. Let's go to the next shot here. So Tom, we talked to Tom about Ironman, and he tells us, he says, guys, I don't like to talk when I'm thirsty. Can we go to the bar across the way? It's 11 o'clock in the morning. This is going to be our mentor, all right? It's a bad start. We walk across to this bar, and we have a few beers, and I notice he has a magic marker with him, and every time he has a beer, he makes a mark on his arm. I'm like, Mr. Warren, sir, we're trying to find out what this Ironman thing. What's the deal? He goes, well, I have this drinking problem, so I make a mark. When I get to my shirt, when I get to my sleeve, I go home. Oh, all right. Then we go to his home. And in his home, he has his bike mounted in the sauna. And he rides 5 hours at a time on the sauna to get ready, in the sauna to get ready for Ironman. So this is what we knew. I went out and bought a police auction bike. This photo is 1980 Ironman, by the way. And this is me. Number 3, because I set my money in 3rd. That bike was a police auction bike that cost me $75. The whole back end had been burnt. Had solid rubber tires because I had no idea how to change a tire. Had the fuzzy raccoon seat cover and the solid deals on the handlebar and a Radio Shack radio so that I could listen to tunes along the way. Plus, since I had no idea that you were supposed to do this stupid thing in one day, I had panniers, tents, and a sleeping bag on the back. So I thought you swam 2.4, rode 56, camped out, rode back the next day and ran the marathon, which makes a hell of a lot more sense than what you idiots are doing. Only guy to do the race with shorts and a belt. I don't think Dave had a belt. The long sleeve shirt, I actually had a pocket sewn in the back, and I had about 20 loaves of Hawaiian sweetbread because we didn't have goo and gel, and we didn't know what the heck. I was a school teacher, and the kid, one of the students I had, her dad lived over in Oahu. This is before we moved to Kona. So we're in Oahu, and her dad lived over there, and he agreed to be my crew. So they had he had a Fiat convertible, he had his 2 girlfriends, I gave him my 50 loaves of Hawaiian sweetbread, Gatorade, basically the car was up like this because there was so much crap in the back. And we go over to do this Ironman thing. And back in 1980, ABC had decided to come over to shoot the Ironman after reading the article in Sports Illustrated. So they were there to shoot the thing, but the problem was there was big storms. And ABC told the Ironman, hey, we're shooting cliff diving on Sunday. So if you have to postpone the event like you did last year in '79 a day, we can't hang out. So the race director brought all of us together, and the waves were breaking against the Grand Otani Hotel, which Luis has been to. They were 10-foot, 12-foot waves, and Ned and I did all our swimming in a 120 length to the mile pool in a condo. And basically, we knew we were going to die if the swim was held where it was supposed to be held. And the race director decided that he was going to move the swim to Ala Moana Channel, which meant we were going to live. But as soon as he announced this, this event had gone from 15 people to 108. And so there's 108 people in this room, and he goes, hey guys, we've got to move the swim, because if I don't do that, I'm going to lose ABC, so I've got to do it on Saturday. And of course, all the Navy SEALs who were in the room are going, oh, what a wussy event, I can't believe you're doing that, Dave Scott and all these guys. And Ned and I are doing the same thing. I can't believe you're changing the swim. Meanwhile, knowing we're going to live now because they're moving into the Alamoana Channel where they did the swim. So we go to do the swim, and my crew is there, and I'm swimming along, and I can't believe I'm doing this thing. You know, I had no idea what I was in for. We did all of our, Ned and I were rock climbers, so we had rock climbing helmets that had no holes in them. So when we went out to train, if we went 15 miles, we thought our heads were going to explode. We had no idea you could do it. We thought that if you did do the whole bike ride one day, it would take at least 10 hours to do the bike. So you need headlamps and the whole bit. We really were a little out of sorts. So we start to swim, and I'm swimming along, and you had to swim 4 lengths in this Alamoana Channel. There was a guy named John Huckabee, 59-year-old guy from here in Connecticut somewhere. And he was 59 years old, and his claim to fame was he had done the Athens Marathon back to back to back in one day, 75 miles in one day. The downside is he had no idea how to swim, and he never swam a stroke in his life. So I'm swimming down, and I'm on my way back, and I swear to God, as I'm swimming on my way back, and I'm staying as shallow as I can, here comes the Incredible Huck walking the entire swim, right? In shallow water, doing this with his arms as he's walking along. And he's the only guy in the history of the sport to get blisters on his feet during the swim, portion of the Ironman. Come out of the water, get on my bike, my crew is there, I'm riding through Waikiki, I'm thinking this is the coolest thing in the world, I can't believe I'm actually doing this deal. No roads are blocked off, you have your own crew and that's it. 25 miles into the race, I see my crew on the side of the road, it looks like Tour de France, they're gonna give me a handoff. Brown bag, Big Mac fries, and a Coke, which was sweet. Got to mile 75, going up the 3 Hanky Hill, got a root beer snow cone, and then finished the bike ride. And as I'm finishing, there's this music, and I don't know what the heck is going on. My crew has a bamboo mat laid out, and they said, would you like a massage? I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Lay down for 45 minutes of massage between the bike and a run. And they had a rule back then. If you lost 5% of your body weight throughout the race, they would pull you out of the race. And they had weigh stations. You had to get off your bike a couple times. We had to get, during a run, we got weighed. Well, I get weighed after starting to run. And meanwhile, I'm eating Hawaiian sweetbread and I'm drinking Gatorade. And as I got to the next weigh station, I could, the guy's on the walkie-talkie. He's like, what's the guy's weight? That can't be right. He's gained 4 pounds. Meanwhile, my buddy Ned, who went on to become world mountain bike champion, at the time was working at San Diego Suzuki because mountain bike hadn't been invented yet. Ned is out there, and his now wife, then girlfriend Pam, couldn't catch him. Traffic in Waikiki is sort of tough. When she caught him, he was drinking out of a sprinkler 85 miles into the bike ride. So, running along, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to finish this race. I got my Fiat convertible right behind me with my crew, and I'm running over Diamond Head, and I'm actually running now, and I'm running down, and I'm thinking, man, I'm finishing this whole thing in one day. I thought I was going to camp out. There's got to be, there's got to be a band at the finish. There's got to be, all sorts of media. It's going to be awesome. I can't believe I'm finishing this thing. And I come into the park, and it's pitch black. And there's just a chalk line on the ground, and there's a light bulb up here. And I hear this voice out in the darkness. It's like, hey, you. I'm like, yeah. You in the race? Yeah, you're done. No Mike Riley, no nothing. Right? One idiot doing one-arm push-ups in the park. That was it. And Ned, who finally, he finished like 23rd overall, something like that. And I went back to the hotel afterwards, and I walked in. They used to do the Ironman always on the full moon, and the moon's coming through, and his back is just red, red, red. And he's a very fair guy, and he just rolls over and goes, I didn't see Pam all day long. Like, oh my God. But from the Ironman, what do you know what our next photo is? What we got? Oh, so this is Dave Scott in the same race, okay? Now Dave wasn't much better off than I was. He had socks up to his knees, and that thing you see behind him is his parents with a station wagon with a spare bike on the road, okay? Dave didn't know how to use the cleats on his pedals, so he did Breaking Away. This is a year after Breaking Away came out. They duct taped his foot to the pedal, so that he couldn't take his foot off the pedal all bike ride long. Yeah. So Dave Scott ended up winning this race, taking like 2.5 hours off the time, and ABC covered it and took the event to the next level. But it was like, when I finished the race, all of a sudden, I felt like I got this business card that told me that I could do anything. Because I had no idea I could do it. I certainly had to train for it. I had flat roof tires on a bike. I had a bike that had been in a fire. And I ate Hawaiian sweetbread and Gatorade and still finished this stupid thing before it was the next day. What's our next photo here? It was a silly era, 1982. This guy, Dave Horning, knew he wasn't going to do the run, so he had a catered lunch delivered to him at Hy-Vee. Yeah, he got disqualified. But it was a pretty cool idea. He had the Maynard D, he had the little thing with the champagne and all of that. Always love him for that. Next shot. So this is how far back I go with Timex. The Silviana Patricia Puntos, some of the original Timex gals going back to like 84, 85. So when I got in the sport in 78, the USTS series started in 1982, and I was racing the series. And anybody could race pro. And so I would race as a pro, and I'd finish in front of all the women. And it was pretty cool, because there was nobody racing back then, especially went back to Atlanta and places like that. When I knew the world was changing a bit was Atlanta 1984, when these two gals came up next to me. I'm running, and it's the first time I've been passed by a girl in a race. And one of them is running next, facing forward, and we're going up a hill. The other one is running backwards up the hill, passing me, right? And they're looking back to see where this gal, Julie Leach, is, who they just passed, and they want to make sure they had a big gap on her. And so this gal, who's been in the sport for 1.5 minutes, looks over at me with her big smile and her French-Canadian accent and goes, "Is this your first triathlon?" Thanks a lot. That's really helpful. What's our next one here? So, one of the things that I've learned over the years was, Ironman changed my life. From Ironman, we started the Challenged Athletes Foundation, started Competitor Magazine, started Muddy Buddy. The world has gone in a lot of different directions, all of them good. Endurance athletes aren't considered freaks anymore. We're sort of we're the gold standard. Everybody wants to be involved with us because we buy and we succeed at what we do. So 1998, show you how much Ironman changed. I'm standing at the finish line with a guy named Michael Collins, whose dad, John Collins, started the Ironman. Michael had done the race in '79, and Michael had a bad day. He was sick, and he was eating chili during the bike ride, and got flat tires, and his crew deserted him. And so he was out there all day long. Finished the next day. So we're standing at the finish line 1998 in Kona, and everybody, all you really fast people, were coming across the line with your Timex watches, stopping your watch going, "I had a bad day." Because their goal was 11:20 and they went 11:40. And they had a bad day. And Michael, deadpan, just looks at me and goes, "These people have no idea." You know what a bad day is? A bad day is when you've been out on the Ironman course for over 24 hours, and you're walking the marathon, and the paper boy's going by you delivering papers with the results of a race you're still in. That is a bad day, and nothing else matters. All right. So, we'll move on. Okay, we're gonna.